What is going on, everybody? My name is Jeff, and we have a very important video today. So important. No, I'm just kidding. It's just an ordinary video. I've had a number of people message me and want to hear my thoughts on the eBert video that pretty much a lot of people in the reselling community are talking about. So I'm going to give you kind of like my takeaways, in addition to other notes that I have been taking over. This is kind of a reaction video, not just of that video, but like Pete did a video last Friday that I thought was important, just every bit as important as the eBert video. I find it interesting that he capitalizes his B, just like eBay. I don't know the guy. I know nothing about him. He's kind of come out of nowhere. I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that I'd like to have a drink with. I mean, we both share a love of comics. I was just at a Comic-Con over the weekend, bought some Judge Dredd comics that he may or may not be interested in, because I know he likes Judge Dredd, or maybe he just likes selling Judge Dredd comics. I'm not sure. I have watched a number of his videos, and I'm guessing you're here because you know that I'm going to tell it exactly the way I see it. There's no fluff. There's no, well, yeah, that's about it. That's about it. I got an empty house, so I should not be interrupted, and I have a lot to talk about, so this is probably going to be a longer video, and I want to jump right into kind of like the key takeaways that I took away from the video. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. Takeaway number one. Now, I'm going to say that the majority of the video, there's not a whole lot of new information in it for a seasoned eBayer. I mean, I didn't get a lot out of it. I know a lot of people are saying this is like the best thing that they've watched, the best reselling video. I mean, I didn't get that. And what I took away from it were a lot of things that I either already suspected or maybe knew subconsciously or thought about it consciously, but you don't have any kind of like confirmation, I guess, what you will. But let's just get right into it. Takeaway number one, and this is a big one, because for anybody who's watched my channel, promoted listings has been a sore spot since April of 2020. I mean, I don't even know, 18 months ago, like when everything went to crap in eBay, when eBay basically flipped a little switch, took away half of our sales. I mean, they would say they didn't take away our sales. They would say they adjusted the algorithm to benefit themselves, right? And ultimately, that's what it is, right? They are, whatever they do for their shareholders. And I don't blame them, but I don't have to like it, right? A little bit of a side note, things like a recurring theme that I'm noticing, when Etsy went public, the platform went to crap. When Value Village / Savers went public, oh boy, did that place go to crap. Now, eBay has been public for a long time, but it's all about the shareholders, right? I'm very pro seller. Like, I literally feel like an advocate for the seller. eBay is very pro eBay, and those two will always clash. What is good for eBay is never good for the seller. You can have it the other way around. What is good for the seller can be good for eBay. If we're making sales, that's good for eBay. But it's never good enough, right? eBay wants more. They always want more because they have to take more to give to their shareholders, right? So where that more is coming from is out of our bottom line. That's where the $5 billion in fees that they've taken since promoted listings have come in existence in 2015 has come from. Instead of focusing on growing their GMV, they've focused on taking more out of our pockets. And that's where I have a problem with, especially in this economy. I mean, if we were in, you know, bountiful, plentiful times and, you know, I've got more money than pockets, wouldn't be a problem, but it's a problem right now. Promoted listings. So something that eBert's said, I'm paraphrasing, and he basically said something to the effect of, if you are using promoted listings, you had better be sure your item is converting. Because if it's not converting, and eBay is showing your item and you're getting impressions and you know, they're going out and they're getting people to look at your items and they're not converting, that sales conversion rate is not going up, even being stagnant is not good, then it's bad for your account. It's bad for your account. So what that tells me is that if you have unique one-off items like myself, it's probably not a good idea to promote. Now, here is something interesting. Upon hearing that, I decided to kick my promoted listings, and I don't ever really promote too high. And I could show you a chart. It's just, I don't feel like doing that. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I kicked my PL back from, I don't know, I never really promoted more than 4.5 range. I just took it all the way down to 2.1. I want to just take it completely off, but there have been times where my my promoted listing campaign has expired, and it's literally just flatlined my account. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take it down to 2.1. I did that like 4 days ago, and every single day since I've done that, my page views have gone up. And not just up a little bit, right? Like basically, they've gone up so much that I stopped doing resets. I stopped doing resets, and I'll explain why in a moment. But like, typically, if you're familiar with how the resets work, you do a reset and you've got a massive spike, and then the next day your traffic is down as well, and then it just incrementally goes down. The traffic that I have been getting for the last 2 to 3 days after making that change, all of those page views days have been higher than the second day of any of my resets for the last 3 months. I don't know why. I mean, I only changed my PL from, like, let's just say 4 all the way down to 2.1, and I'm done doing full store resets. For now, at least. So what I'm doing now is I'm just resetting like 200 a day. And I'm not resetting items that have watchers on it. Something that Jet Fixer said to me 3 or 4 days ago is, because we talk, and he was telling me, or I was telling him what I was doing, and I was saying how I think full store resets, if they don't hurt you, they certainly don't really provide any benefit. So what's the point in doing them? I mean, it's a risk every time you do it. You could risk accidentally deleting 200 listings. It takes time. It's annoying. I don't really want to have to do it. I never really wanted to do it. But something that Jet said was, look at it from eBay's perspective. If you're ending and selling similar your store on a regular basis, and you have watchers on these items, and eBay, from their view, have gone out and found you somebody who added that to their watch list, and then you're ending it, in theory, they could view that as they're looking at it like it's a waste of their time. So I was like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. I will not reset my items that have watchers on it right now. Because I'm only doing 200 a day, it's fairly easy to select the 200 that I'm going to do and then deselect those that have watch lists. And that's my reset for the day. Just items that don't have, basically any item that doesn't have a watcher on is 200 items are going to get reset every day. Other than that, and that's less than 10% of my account. It seems to be working to increase my page views. Now, sales, is it increasing my sales? I will say right now my sales are somewhat stable on each account. Nothing great, like nothing. It's not back to what it was by any stretch of the imagination. Pre, whatever you want to call it, April, the D-Day April. So, promoted listings could be hurting your account if you have unique items. Now the goal, and Carl has that same goal over at eBay Life. Like I was watching his video today, and he's got some interesting things that he's working on, trying to get organic traffic. And I agree with most everything that he is doing. So promoted listings could hurt you if you have a unique item. So basically, if you are promoting, you better make sure that your items are going to convert. Me with long tail items, I don't know if my items are going to convert. So yeah, that was the first takeaway from the video. The second one was titles. Now, we've all seen all of these videos over the years telling us to fill up our item title with as many descriptive terms as you can imagine. That might not be the best advice possible. In fact, it might be, and Ebert talked about this, having your titles, try to only have the words that pertain to the item that you have for sale, so that when somebody clicks on it, they're actually looking for that item, and it gives you a better chance to convert. So I think that there are platforms out there. So platforms like eBay, where it's not about the search that this is kind of confusing too, because I have a lot of thoughts in my head. So eBay is a platform, in my opinion, that assigns a value to your account based on your sales conversion rate. Call it what you want. Call it, are you useful to eBay? Are you making eBay the most money that eBay can squeeze out of this particular item? It's almost like a social, no, not really a social currency number. It's like, it's a value that eBay uses through their, and eBay, not eBay, Pete has talked about like a second algorithm inside your account, which, kind of determines whether or not, how valuable you are to eBay. So the bottom line is that you don't want to have like a title that has all these different words in it that are going to be bringing people to your account who might be searching for a Grecian painting, but you have a statue, and they came, but they don't want a statue. They want a Grecian painting, but you have a Grecian statue. That's a bad view. That's a bad impression. And because they didn't buy it. So because eBay is a website which apparently, and we do have kind of like enough proof that sales conversion rate is important, that filling your title up with all these be as narrow, as specific as possible, even if you're only using 30 or half the characters that are allotted to you. I'm not going to go back and change all my titles. I'm not going to do that. But it is going to cause me to think about the words that I put in the titles for eBay. Now, there are other sites out there where you want to be as broad as possible to bring in people to your store, to that item, to potentially click on and see what else you have. Marketplace, district. I don't know enough about Posh and Etsy yet to know really how they work, but they're probably run by algorithms, and so they probably have similar designation systems in place of accounts to be like, okay, this account is very valuable to us. It has this amount of conversion rate. Let's show their items. Whereas this one has proven to be not having as high of a sell-through rate or conversion rate, so they're not as important to us. So we're only going to give them views when we need extra money or we need them to make X amount to pay their store fees. There was another thought that was just coming to me. Okay, it took me like a minute of just like thinking, what was it that I just had? Okay, so I have this thought that if you unplug from the eBay matrix and you stop promoting, I feel like you're going to be throttled. I've seen it happen. Many other people have seen it happen. Meaning your sales are going to be very slow, and it has to do with, eBay doesn't like that. They don't want you to not promote. They want you to promote. This is all just a theory in my head, but it seems to be backed up by a number of other people who have experienced the same thing. But if you have unique items like me, I almost think the goal is to get out of promoted listings for like months at a time. And yes, your page views and your impressions are going to drop. But especially if you are paying attention to your titles and maybe not spamming your title with like keywords and being super broad. This is all a theory. It's a theory that I would love to test. Maybe I will at some point in time. The first step was going from 3.5 to 4.5 all the way down to 2.1, and then seeing what happens. Sorry. I think that what you have to do is you got to get out of promoted listing, and this is if you have unique items. And I think you need to stay out of it for at least a minimum of like 2 to 3 months. You're going to have lower page views and impressions, but I theorize that the people who do end up coming to your store because they're searching for something specific, and then they see your items and they buy them, and I think slowly, so get out of the matrix for 2 to 3 months. Yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, I have a plan to do that in terms of kind of spreading out my risk among multiple platforms. And then from that 2 to 3 months on, as you start to convert your items based on, the impressions and the page views that you are getting, as your sales conversion rate up, I think things will normalize, right? This is a theory. But if you're doing what you're doing now and you're using promoted listings and you don't know where the quality of these impressions and page views are coming from, and as Carl mentioned, and I think he was referencing James over at my great reseller life. I'm still partial to my boring reseller life, but it just reminds me of the 90s. I don't know. But anyhow, when you use promoted listings, you sacrifice organic traffic. And you don't want to sacrifice organic traffic, especially if promoted views are hurting you, which I'm theorizing based on eBert's information. It's true. All right, so we've got the promoted listings is hurting you. Don't fill up your title with a whole bunch of words anymore, trying to bring in people who are interested in a slice of what you are providing, right? You want them to be, you don't want them to be, so if you have an ET button, you don't want somebody who's looking for an ET shirt. You want them to be looking for a button. And then they click on it. They're already wanting to buy a button. Now they just need to decide, or do they want to buy your button? Okay, so number three takeaway from that video. What is number 3? Yes, making changes based on this information that we have. I agree with James. I think that I'm not doing anything. I mean, the only change that I made was something that I had already been wanting to change. I've been wanting to lower my PL and have the conviction to stay out of it. So I don't view that change as a change altering that's out of alignment with my goals and thoughts of how I want to sell. Like, I do not want to do promoted listings if I don't have to. I've always felt that we have to, like, that we don't really have a choice. So I believe making too many drastic changes right now is not good. It's not good because who's to say that you're not going to go out and make all these changes right now, and then a year from now, eBay is going to change their algorithm again. Like, to say that the algorithm is going to stay the same is ignorance, right? And we have the history behind us to show how they just keep changing. I mean, they change stuff every single day, it seems like, every week, every month. I mean, they change stuff during the fourth quarter, which is, in my opinion, the dumbest thing that you can possibly do. Like, eBay should have a hard stop. Come August 31st, no more changes. August 31st, in their minds, should be the end of the year. This is it. We're not making any changes unless something broke. Unless they have a glitch or a problem, then they have to fix that. But August 31st, no more changes. Why is that so difficult? I don't know. Somebody woke up today and said that all their account was in German. They're just in there doing, I don't know what they're doing. They're just making changes. And so, yeah, I know my stuff sells. I know that I have unique stuff, and I know that I have stuff that people want when they can find it. And I know this because when I upsell somebody who buys something on one store, I refer them to my other store. Or when somebody buys something locally and then I send them to my stores, on my online stores, whether it's eBay, Etsy, Posh, District, whatever it is. They like my stuff, and I am going to focus on doing what I continue to do. Let other people go out and make changes, take items down, change what they sell, and I'll observe and see how that works for them. But sorry, my phone's dying. I am content right now to just continue to do what I do and build out. Build out, build Etsy, build Posh, build District, build local sales. So like today, I've got 2 sales on eBay for $75. I've got 2 sales local for $100, and I have another $25 sale coming at between 8 and 8:30 tonight. I constantly, true story, I had some Lion King pins, and I probably had them on eBay for at least 2 years. I came across them in my inventory. I'm like, I'm gonna list these locally. Listed them. Within 8 hours, somebody messaged me, said, hey, can I pick these up tomorrow? I mean, I don't know if it's just the fact that people don't have to pay the shipping, so the price is a little decreased. But another story. Oof, sorry about that. Another story. 2 days ago, I listed some Dragonlance novels, books. There were 11 of them. I listed them on eBay, and I listed them on Marketplace, Craigslist. This is how I know something is currently wrong with eBay. I have 8,000 items listed. So let's say this is Tuesday. So Sunday night, that was the last listing that I listed before I went to bed. I woke up, so I had them listed for $70. Somebody makes me an offer for $40. It's the only offer that I had when I woke up that morning. So I listed it Sunday night, Monday morning when I woke up. Out of 8,000 listings I have, the last thing that I list is the only action that I had. So that is kind of in line with what Ebert is saying about how when you list something, if eBay does, so it was a lot, so eBay didn't quite maybe know exactly how to value it, so maybe they pushed it. Maybe they've determined all 7,999 listings that I have are complete garbage and nobody wants them, although when I list them locally, they sell. Now, the guy made me an offer for $40. I countered at $50. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not, I'm not doing that $40, but I didn't even really want to do $50. But I'm like, okay, well, I don't have any sales today, eBay. I mean, I need to get something going. He never responded. Later that night, somebody messaged me local from Vancouver Island, and they're like, hey, I'd like to buy these. And I'm like, yeah. And they were like, can you ship to so-and-so? I'm like, yeah. So he paid the full, well, I had them listed for $60, and then he paid plus shipping to have them shipped to him, and they went out today. So I was able to, okay, so this is actually leads me into the next takeaway from, and the next and kind of like the final takeaway from the interview, I guess you can call it. And I'm a little confused on this. It has to do with taking down listings. It has to do with when you have something on eBay and then you take it down. To me, it seemed like Ebert was saying that eBay punishes you if you do that, or could punish you if you do that. Now, to me, I don't, and it kind of falls under the thing that Jet and I was talking about. Like if you have a listing and then they go out and they find you watchers, or they put people in front of your items and then you take it down, from their standpoint it could be bad. But the truth of the matter is, I have no choice. I have absolutely no choice but to sell on other platforms, to list my items on multiple platforms, and to sell locally. I couldn't only sell on eBay even if I wanted to. So this is another reason why it's like, why should I change anything about what I'm doing to bend the knee to eBay when I was selling, like I literally, for up until 2023? Yeah, it was 2023. It was April of 2023 was when everything went to shit on eBay, in my opinion. And anybody who leaves comments on my, maybe I'm going to get into this, but there was somebody who left a comment on my channel, blah blah blah, I've been selling on eBay for less than a year and I'm making $300 million. Like, come on, eBay. Like people who tell me that eBay is fine, there's nothing wrong with eBay, you're dead to me, right? Like, and if things are going great for you, great. Share your statistics, share your story. And if you don't, well, what, you think I'm going to believe you? No. But so, oh yeah, lost my train of thought, got it back. I only sold on eBay with a very, very, very minor, like local, like, and my local sales were more or less just like larger items that I didn't really want to sell on eBay because they were too difficult to package, or they were too heavy, or things like that. I literally was eBay. What? There are other reselling platforms out there? No, eBay. Like, and this is the thanks that I get. This is the thanks that long time and then you've got people like James who are conducting, I guess you could say, experiments to see if aged accounts are basically subpar performing to newer accounts. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, if you've put in the time, you've been with eBay, you have awesome metrics, you have awesome feedback, you have a history of being a good seller, and your account is same account, same stuff, but newer accounts are performing better. Like, I don't know if that's something that is intentional on eBay or if it's a byproduct of what they're doing. I don't know. They never tell us anything. And we have to assume the worst. We have to assume that there is a nefarious cabal of people standing around a cauldron trying to figure out how to screw us out of as much money as possible. That's kind of like where that's where we start with as a reseller. But I was in that boat where I was like, no, I don't want to sell anywhere else. It's easier to sell on eBay. I honestly wish I didn't have to. I wish I didn't have to take a listing, start it on eBay, and then decide which platforms I need to spread this out on to give myself an opportunity to sell this item, because I can't trust the eBay algorithm. Prove me wrong, people. Prove me wrong. Tell me that I'm wrong to think like this. So I don't make any apologies or feel bad. I actually feel good at this point. when I'm able to sell something that I have listed on other sites, I feel good. And this is going to lead into Pete's video from Friday. I feel good when I sell something on another platform that was listed on eBay, because eBay will only give you X amount of sales every single month. Go watch Pete's video. It took him a long time. It took him to go through his own testing to come to what we've already known just based on historical data from our eBay records. So if I'm able to sell this comic, well, it's actually part of a set. Like, there's a whole bunch of those Man-Thing comics. If I'm able to sell, if I list, I'm going to list that. I have a couple. I've got this whole set. There's like maybe 6 or 7 different Man-Thing comics in there. I'm going to list that on eBay. I'm going to list it on Marketplace because I'm in a member of like 9 different comic groups. The last Man-Thing set that I listed, it was sold within hours. I've got two that I got. They were and there was a little bit of a bidding war actually on Marketplace. And I think it sold for $60. So that was $60 that didn't sell on eBay that I might actually get $60 in other listing, in other sales that I have on eBay. That's how it works. If you don't have a cap on your account, thank your lucky stars that you're one of the chosen ones. Like, if you're selling 10 to 20 items a day, I got this bug that's flying around. You are one of the chosen ones. Count your lucky stars. I am not one of the chosen ones. But Pete, and it's an important video to watch. 4 months ago, I did a video called something of the lines of, what did I call it? Basically, it was something like, the sooner you come to grips with you have no control over your sales, the better. It was something like that. And it basically was saying everything that Pete came to conclude from his tests of his 28-day cycle of sales and analyzing. He can tell you any 28-day cycle, how many sales, dollar figures of sales he's going to get to within 10-15%. And look in your own accounts. It's unbelievably consistent, too much so. Now, why? That we don't know. We don't know if it's because there's not enough sales to go around and they want to try to keep everybody engaged, so they keep paying that monthly fee. We don't know if that's just the way that we don't know. We don't know what the rationale is behind it, but if you've been selling on eBay for longer than 10 years, I'm pretty sure that if you go back and you look at your sales, they're going to be very, very consistent. So the only way to get out of that, break out of that, what your salary is on eBay, is to sell on other platforms. Again, I don't feel bad about it. In fact, you have to do it. If you're not doing it, you're hurting yourself. You're losing sales, and your inventory will continue to grow. If you are continually buying, you will be buying more than you're selling, and you will eventually run out of room. Sad reality. Unless something changes on eBay, which I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking, to be honest with you. A couple other things that I wanted to touch upon. Philly Flipper recently did a video stating he's basically done with eBay. I don't know. I've never really watched him. I've heard of him. but for whatever reason, I never watched his videos or anything, but somebody had sent me a video. Again, it was basically he's done not feeling like he is supported as a seller, and we are seeing more and more of these kinds of stories coming out. Whether or not it makes a difference, probably not. People often say that eBay doesn't care whether or not people leave. In my opinion, it's not a good look if you're eBay. It's not a good look for long-standing resellers to come out. It had to do with him being in Florida and the hurricane's impact on his store and his life, and just a bad buyer. I hear more, like I'm actually hearing more and more about people. Part of what is kind of making me, I guess you could say, feel like making videos again is this. I feel like it's not just me anymore. I feel like more and more people are coming out and they're sharing these experiences. Again, whether or not it makes any difference, I don't know. I really don't know. And it's not that I don't care. It's just that I'm trying to reduce eBay's impact on the percentage of income I derive from them. I need it to be down to 20 to 25% of all of my income sources. And I would say I see a time when that would be the case. And I would be okay with that. Because think about it. If eBay is 20 to 25% of my total income, and they pull another stunt like they did 18 months ago, and I lose half my sales, it's going to be a lot lesser of an impact, right? To go from 100% down to 50 is a huge difference to go from 25 to 15% or 12.5%, right? Like, if you, I'm talking to you, whoever's watching, if you are not making decisions to spread out and your risk with these platforms, and none of them are perfect, really, none of them are. They all have their flaws. I could go over each platform and I could talk about the things about each of them that I don't like. I could talk about the things that I do like. And they all have their pros and cons. Collectively, you have to spread it out. It's more work. It sucks. If you're not, there's going to come a point in time where something happens and you're going to find yourself up shit creek, and you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have listened to Fro. He told us. He's been telling us. There's another YouTuber, Global Voodoo. I find his videos interesting. I discovered him after I started making YouTube videos, and that was essentially when he stopped. And I appreciate his candor. As a longtime reseller, he's been selling on eBay since the beginning. I believe he's been on since '95. And he just came out with a new video like a week ago. Like, it was like his first video in like over a year or something. And the video that he did before that, like that was his last video, he was talking about promoted listings and not speaking very positive on it. And he continues to basically give the same message that there's just something rotten in Denmark right now with eBay, and things are not right, things aren't working. I mean, he's literally doing like sports betting, which I don't know the first thing about, and personally I think I have been a long time Vikings fan, a long time meaning almost 40 years, and I have come to the conclusion after last Thursday's game, I'm pretty much done watching football in terms of giving like my mental, like giving attention. Like I'm basically not caring about the output, the outcome anymore. I feel like it's all completely rigged. So that's a whole nother story. But I've reclaimed some free time by, yeah. But anyhow, so Global Voodoo is another one that I find interesting for his ability to just say it like it is, which is kind of like how I am. And I think that's why a lot of you guys come back and check out my channel, and I appreciate each and every one of you who do. I also think I'm crossing off my checklist of some things that I wanted to talk about. eBay may very well want to become a website of sell shit that sells, sell shit that converts, right? Like that seems to be what this website has become. I can't remember who it was that basically was comparing eBay to a collection of Shopify stores. Was it James? I can't remember. But the bottom line is that what sells is almost, the sell-through rate of something is almost determined by eBay, whether or not they sell it. And if they want to have a website of high sell-through rate, and they want to have like a clone of resellers who go out there and buy high sell-through rate items, well, then the site's going to be clogged and filled with high sell-through items, which in turn will actually bring the sell-through rate either down, or the overall sales, the competitive nature those sales will start to come down. They won't get as much as they were. I think that's going away from what eBay is known for, which is a site that has anything and everything. And if eBay doesn't want to be that site anymore, because they can't have their cake and eat it too, meaning they can't be known as that site if those types of products are not welcome on the site, I guess, right? And being welcomed on the site, meaning if people who list those items can't sell those items, they're going to take them down. Just like Curious Collection is taking down 2,000 items. Other people are making drastic changes to their eBay stores. And the overall inventory is going to change over the next, could change over the next few years, as people who have unique items decide, well, some may do what I'm doing, just throw them up there and then list them in other places, or some might just decide to not list them at all because they're like, oh, well, maybe that might hurt my account. Me, I don't care. At this point, I really don't care. I'll get my 0 to 5 sales each day, and then I'll make up my sales on other platforms. That's kind of like how I'm looking at it. And by doing so, again, it's spreading out my risk. So if one platform takes a dump or, makes another drastic change, well, it's not going to have as big of an impact on me. Like, I already feel so much lighter than I did this time a year ago because of what I have been building on other platforms. I don't mean to be abrupt, but I have talked far too long, and I'm hoping that I'm able to render this video. If you like what you've heard and you want to hear more of it, and at this point, your likes and your comments and how my videos perform will directly decide whether or not I continue to keep making videos. Just being completely honest with you. So if you like it, do what you can to help the algorithm Peace and blessings, everybody. I hope you are surviving in these dark times of reselling. I hope you appreciate my candor and, you know, you appreciate my thoughts. I appreciate yours. Let's have some discussion in the comment section. Peace and blessings, guys.